Dear learners, the convergence of an oceanic and a continental plate forms an ocean-continent convergent boundary. Along this boundary, the denser oceanic plate subducts beneath the more buoyant continental plate. The thinner, denser oceanic crust is forced to dip downwards at an angle and sink into the subduction zone beneath the thicker, lighter, and more buoyant continental crust. A deep sea trench forms at the plate margins as subduction takes place. These form the deepest areas on the planet. An oceanic trench marks the plate boundary and receives sediment from the adjacent continent. Again, sediment and other material are scraped off the oceanic plate, forming a wedge of highly sheared material near the trench. Compression associated with the convergent boundary. As the oceanic crust descends, compression squeezes the crust for hundreds of kilometers into the continent. The crust deforms and thickens, resulting in uplift of the region. Uplift and volcanism may produce high mountain range such as the Andes. Sediments collecting in the deep sea trench may also be pushed up to form fault mountains. As the oceanic crust descends into the hot mantle, additional heat generated by friction helps the plate to melt, usually at a depth of 400 to 600 km below the surface. As it is less dense than the mantle, the newly formed magma will tend to rise to the Earth's surface, where it may form volcanoes. These volcanoes erupt often violently, producing large amounts of volcanic ash, lava, and mud flows, which pose a hazard for people who live nearby. Examples include large volcanoes of the Andes of South America and the Cascade Range of Washington, Oregon, Northern California, and Southern British Columbia, United States of America. However, as the rising magma at destructive margins is very acidic, it may solidify before it reaches the surface and form a batholith at the base of the mountain chain. As the oceanic plate descends, increased stresses may trigger earthquakes. Shallow earthquakes occur where the crust is stretched as it dips beneath the surface, and deeper earthquakes occur due to increase in friction and pressure as the plate subducts. The area in the subduction zone where the most earthquakes take place is known as the Benioff zone. The depth of the deeper earthquakes may also provide an indication as to the angle of subduction, where gentler angles of subduction give rise to shallower earthquakes. If subduction occurs offshore, island arcs may form, for example, Japan and the West Indies. Dear learners, as you know that the Andes have been created above a subduction zone where the floor of the Pacific Ocean is grinding beneath the edge of South America plate. The compression forces the continental rock upward. Heavier Nazca oceanic crust bends and sinks beneath the lighter South American continental crust, creating a subduction zone. A deep sea trench forms at the plate margin as subduction takes place. The coastal blocks of the continent is pushed eastward by the moving slab of oceanic crust. Blocks of continental crust are squeezed between converging plates and pushed upward. Pressure crumples the continental rock, forming fold mountains. Magma rises from the magma chamber through faults in the rock fueling a chain of volcanoes. As the oceanic plate descends, increased stresses trigger earthquakes. Shallow earthquakes occur where the crust is stretched as it dips beneath the surface, and deeper earthquakes occur due to increases in friction and pressure as the plate subducts. Learners, the area in the subduction zone where most earthquakes take place is known as the Benioff zone. Japan has been situated in the convergent plate boundary during long geohistorical ages. This means that the Japanese islands are built under the subduction tectonics. The oceanic plate consists of the oceanic crust and a part of the mantle beneath it. The oceanic crust brings basaltic lava, deep marine sediments, seamounts, and so on. These are ripped into the continental crust together with the trench filled deposits at the subduction. This phenomena is called accretion, and ribbed sediments and rocks formed by accretion are termed as accretionary complex. The deeper part of the accretionary complex is subjected to regional metamorphism. In addition, subducted oceanic plate brings water into the mantle and contributes to the generation of magma, which forms large amount of plutonic rocks and volcanic activities in and on the continental crust. The Japanese islands are characterized as the grown-up continental margin formed by the subduction of the oceanic plate.